On the 20th of January 2010, we boarded a train at Bangalore in the afternoon and reached Margao, Goa early morning on the 21st of January and went to International Guest House in Teligao, Goa. The guest house is in a beautiful scenic surroundings and the view of Panaji from hotel room is outstanding. Goa is a state in western India with coastlines stretching along the Arabian Sea. Its long history as a Portuguese colony prior to 1961 is evident in its preserved 17th century churches and the area's tropical spice plantations. Goa is also known for its beaches, ranging from popular stretches at Vagator and Palolem to those in Anjunar and Kalangute. Next day on the 21st of January, we first went to Aguada Fort. Fort Aguada is a well-preserved 17th century Portuguese fort, along with a lighthouse, standing on Sinkerim Beach, overlooking the Arabian Sea. The fort was originally constructed in 1612 to guard against the Dutch and Marathas. From the fort we could see Parsi entrepreneur Jimmy Gazdar's house, which was designed by Goan architect Gerard de Cunha. Then, we went to Candolim Beach for a cruise to spot dolphins. It is an hour-long dolphin spotting activity in the mesmerizing blues of Arabian Sea. During the cruise, we passed by the Goa jail. One can spot these friendly and lovable bottlenose dolphins in their natural habitat. Then we went to Anjuna Beach. Amongst the most popular beaches in Goa, Anjuna has a rich past of hippie culture. The beach stretches almost 2 kilometers and is very popular with families and water sports lovers. At night, Anjuna becomes one of the best hubs for nightlife, especially Paradiso. Anjuna is also known for its Wednesday flea market. Anjuna boasts of water sports, like jet skiing, banana boat ride, parasailing, bumping ride, water scooter etc. Then we went to Kalangute beach to enjoy parasailing. Parasailing is a recreational kiting activity where a person is towed behind a boat while attached to a specially designed canopy wing that reminds one of a parachute, known as a parasail wing. In the afternoon, we went to Baga beach to enjoy the sunset. It is also very popular amongst the tourists and is near the Baga Creek. On the 22nd of January, after breakfast, we started a tour of churches, beginning with Holy Cross Church. The Holy Cross is also known as the Cross of Miracles. Hundreds of people visit the shrine on a daily basis, each holding a humble prayer in their heart in the hope of a miracle. Our next destination was Mai Dodias Church, which is a very well-maintained church. It is also known as Mother of God Church. With its Gothic spires and pristine white walls, it reminds one of a fairy tale castle. Situated amidst picturesque surroundings of the typical Goan countryside, this church at Saligaon was built in 1873. Next, we went to Basilica of Bom Jesus. The Basilica of Bom Jesus is a Roman Catholic basilica located in Old Goa and is part of the churches and convents of Goa UNESCO World Heritage Site. It holds the mortal remains of Saint Francis Xavier. The Jesuit church is India's first minor basilica, and is considered to be one of the best examples of Baroque architecture and Portuguese colonial architecture in India. It is one of the 7 wonders of Portuguese origin in the world. The floor is of marble and laid with precious stones. Apart from the elaborate gilded altars, the interior of the church is simple. The main altar holds a large statue of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Before entering the Say Cathedral, we went to the Archaeological Survey of India Museum, but unfortunately the museum was closed. Say Cathedral is the most imposing of all the churches at Old Goa, its vaulted interior overwhelming visitors with its sheer grandeur. Say Cathedral is dedicated to Saint Catherine. It is the cathedral of the Archbishop of Goa. With its superb Iberian facade, soaring ceilings, fabulous mosaic work, intricate wood and gilded carvings is an absolute must-see for any visitor in Goa. The construction of Say Cathedral in Goa started in 1562 and ended in 1652. On the right side of the nave are the chapels of Saint Anthony, Saint Bernard, the Cross of Miracles and the Holy Ghost, whilst the ones on the left are devoted to Our Lady of Virtues. Before starting our temple visits, we saw 2 more places, Mount Carmel Chapel in Ponda and Safa Masjid. After visiting the churches, we went to visit the temples of Goa. Our first destination was Sri Shantadurga Temple. Sri Shantadurga Temple is a private temple complex belonging to the Gaur Saraswat Brahman Samaj, located 30 kilometers from Panaji. The temple is dedicated to Shanta Durga, the goddess who mediates between Vishnu and Shiva. The deity is also called Santeri colloquially. Shanta Durga is holding two serpents, one in each hand, representing Vishnu and Shiva. There is a main temple and three smaller temples of other deities which have been built on three sides of the temple. The temple consists of a collection of pyramidal roofs with a dome. The pillars and floors are made of Kashmir stone. The temple has a huge tank, a Deepastambha and guest houses. Next we went to Sri Mangesh Temple. Sri Mangesh Temple is located at Mangeshi village in Priol, Ponda Taluk. This temple is one of the largest and most frequently visited temples in Goa. The main temple is dedicated to Bhagavan Mangesh, an incarnation of Shiva. Bhagavan Mangesh is worshipped here as Shiva Linga. The complex also has shrines of Goddess Parvati and God Ganesha. Then we went to Mahalsa Narayani Temple. Mahalsa Narayani Temple is a Hindu temple to the goddess Mahalsa, located in Mardol, Ponda. Mahalsa is identified with Mohini, the female avatar of the god Vishnu. Mahalsa has 4 hands, carrying a trishula, a sword, a severed head, and a drinking bowl. She stands on a prostrate man or demon, as a tiger or lion licks blood dripping from the severed head. The Mardol temple complex also has smaller temples of the goddess Shanta Durga and Lakshmi Narayan, who are worshipped daily with Mahalsa. Next we went to Ganesha Temple in Kavalem. Then we passed by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaja Fort. Before going back to our hotel, we passed by the Mai Do Dias church lit beautifully by light. After completing visits to Goa churches and Goa temples, we came back to our hotel. On the 23rd of January, after breakfast, we went to Miramar Beach. Our first destination was Miramar Beach. A short distance away from Panaji, Goa's capital city, Miramar is a family-friendly beach but also a perfect place for groups of friends to hang out. Then we went to Dona Paula, which is a village and tourist destination in the neighborhood of Panaji. The place is named after Dona Paula Amaral Antônia de Souto Major, a historical figure in Portuguese India. She was related to the Portuguese viceroy of Jaffna in Sri Lanka. She and her family arrived in Goa in 1744 and she married a hidalgo from Spain in 1756. She died on the 21st of December 1782. Dona Paula was a woman of charity, and is known to have helped the villagers and worked a lot for their betterment. Hence after her death, the villagers decided to rename the village as Dona Paula. One of the attractions in Dona Paula is a whitewashed statue perched on the rocks near the ferry jetty. Sculpted in 1969 by Baroness Ersa van Leesnar. Our next destination was Ancestral Goa. The Ancestral Goa theme park is located in Lutolim, a village in the south of Goa. The Ancestral Goa theme park and Bigfoot Museum are open to visitors all the days of the week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It was founded and is run by the artist Mahendra Alvars. This privately run venture recreates a Goan village in miniature that seeks to depict what the local rural life was in the past, over a century ago. The museum is located in an open-air setting. In Bigfoot Museum, the most famous sculptures are Bigfoot and sculpture of Saint Mirabai. Saint Mirabai strumming on her tambori and measuring 14 meters by 5 meters was chiseled in Greco-Roman style from a vast expanse of laterite stone by Maindra Joselino Arroyo Alvarez. A wealthy landowner by the name of Mahadar always helped the poor. But he was fleeced by the greedy neighbors. He was allowed only a small rock, where he could stand. He prayed for a long time standing on one foot. The gods took him to heaven, leaving the footprint behind with the boon anyone praying with a pure heart will be blessed with luck. After completing the tour of Ancestral Goa, we went to Houses of Goa Museum. This is an offbeat, ship-shaped museum showcasing the region's cultural and architectural history. Our last destination was Goa's apparent shop for purchase of Goan artifacts. Our last destination in Goa on the 22nd of January was a night cruise. We went to Paradise Cruise on Tourism Jetty, Patto. Holiday in Goa would be incomplete without an evening on the Sunset River cruises. This is an hour-long cruise where the boat sail down the river Mandovi. You will get to see the sunset and you can see Panaji and Betaim in twilight and by night. Of course, the cruise has its own entertainment lined up for you while you relax and enjoy a mesmerizing Goan sunset. A group of Goan dancers entertain the guests. Once the dancers have finished with their performance, a DJ will take over. Guests are welcome to dance and sing along. That was the last day in Goa and last day of our excursion, tour of West and South India. We came back to our guest house for the next day's flight to Delhi. On the 25th of January, after breakfast, we proceeded to Panji Airport for flight to Delhi.